back to high school the second time around. I returned to Boulder after a few months, wrecked, ended up registering for my hometown college, barely going to class, eating 8 meals a day, trying to bulk up, stripping, bouncing. Found out that the IQ tests on which I'd scored 150 only went to 150. Took some more IQ tests and started scoring in the 170s, 180s, 190s. So I'm thinking, all right, that is adequate intelligence to be able to really do what I want to do. I should start acting smart. And the one thing I knew I could do, even if I couldn't successfully complete a theory of the universe, was I could absorb information. So I set a target of reading a book a day. When I got to LA, I wanted to check out whatever library resources the area offered. I accumulated 44 library cards for different communities across the state. San Diego up to San Luis Obispo or something. One time in a library in Oceanside, California, I found a book on relativity I've never seen anywhere before. Amazing diagrams of what the rotation of axes actually would look like at various speeds close to the speed of light. In Oceanside, California. And somewhere in there I decided, all right, I'll go back to high school and just sit in a desk and think all day. I figured high school would be a good place to do that. You're staring out the window for X number of hours a day. High school is like a controlled experiment. The variables are limited. It's got a nice structure. Make discoveries. Michael Davies, executive producer. Dear Michael, as you might expect from someone who spent hundreds of hours over the course of a year studying and practicing to make it to the hot seat, I've spent the last 2 weeks scrutinizing every aspect of the elevation question. You must already know that the question is flawed. About 4% of the questions they ask are magnitude questions. The oldest, youngest, biggest, longest, whatever. They have 2 ways of asking magnitude questions. Which of these and what is the? Which of these implies you have to pick from among those 4. When they say, what is the biggest state in the United States, you have to pick the very biggest from all 50 states. My question is phrased, what capital city is located at the highest altitude? The capital city at the highest altitude. The answer is La Paz, Bolivia. Unless you consider Lhasa a capital, which some people do and some people don't, because Tibet was taken over by China in the 50s. Neither of those cities were listed among the answers. According to the way the question is phrased, the correct answer is missing. Missing. Dear Mr. Rosner, after reading your letters and reviewing our research, we continue to believe that the answer to your $16,000 question is correct. Of the 4 capital cities given as answer choices, Quito is the highest and thus is the correct answer. Sincerely, Alexandra W. Cantalupo. This time I forged a set of 40 separate documents that all went into my high school permanent record, which were all lost by the school district. So I made it in on the basis of 4 extra documents I had sitting around. And I had a lot of trouble with stubble. I shaved every day, very close, 2-3 times, but I still had a lot of 5 o'clock shadow. I looked much younger in the morning after gravity had pulled my face up while I was sleeping. And then at the end of the day, I had trouble using my bus pass, and my face would have fallen. I would have aged an apparent 3 years or something, and I always had to like show the rest of the fake contents of my wallet in order to use my student bus pass. And by then I knew how to do it right. It was high school student by day, nude model, bouncer by night. I was just very tired all the time. I was going out with a big, muscly woman, big, muscly, angry woman. Very attractive, big, muscly, angry woman, who I suggested become a bouncer with me at one of the bars I was working at. She did it, and she was good. And she was good at taking people down and choking them out. There was all sorts of angry, scary sex that I had a hard time getting over. Sex that's linked with fear makes an indelible impression.
Sex that's linked with fear?
Yeah. It somehow hardwires itself into your brain. We would have angry fights, and in the middle of the fight, I'd get a big erection because I knew that at the end of the argument, we would be having wild monkey angry sex. Anyway, she ended up finally blowing me off for yet another bouncer. This big, puffy, man-breasty bouncer. It was a horrible breakup. I was taking a long time to recover, as you might imagine. But I had specific strategies for getting over my bummedness. I had to do something goofy at least once a week. I flew a physics equation on a banner towed by an airplane over Boulder in Denver.
A physics equation?
Yeah. I had this formula that reflected what I thought about the structure of the universe. The way Planck's constant shrinks in proportion to the addition of mass in your locality. That was just stupid thing one that day. Stupid thing two was I went to a Jewish singles dance, knowing it was going to be kind of an embarrassing and unproductive experience. I went because it was a goofy thing to do. I didn't anticipate things being so good at this Jewish singles dance in Denver, Colorado in 1986. My future wife was there, being Jewish, and she was wearing a big purple prom dress.
Was she dressed as a high school girl?
No, it was just a not quite appropriate but still very attractive dress.
And then you had a daughter.
Yes. She's probably more socially adept than either of her parents. She's smart, especially visually. It's too early to say extraordinary, but she's good at stuff. She's faster at doing jigsaw puzzles than my wife. She's been faster for a couple of years. But I'm not looking for a prodigy here.
What you looking for?
Somebody who can live their life effectively. Dear Michael, I hope that you've had a chance to look over the letter I faxed on Friday. I'm sorry to keep sending you letters. I'm not a grievance-oriented person, but I have found overwhelming and conclusive evidence that Millionaire made devastating mistakes on this question. La Paz, Lhasa, Quito, Kathmandu, Bogota, Mexico City, none of these are flat little towns. All these are big splotches of humanity that are built way up the sides of mountains. Quito's like a city built on a crumpled piece of paper. It runs up the side of a volcano. It's up and down every place. From the lowest altitude of below 600 feet at the Guayallabamba River to a highest altitude of 15,696 feet at the top of the volcano Pichincha. Quito, the choice is pretty arbitrary. If you can pick any point from 600 feet to 16,000, we're talking 3 miles vertical range. Kathmandu is this big urban mess. Sits at the bottom of this valley, but